Roll call.
Mayor Laura,
Present.
Vice Mayor Parsons,
Present.
Commissioner Landry,
Present.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation.
Lord, we thank you for the moment that we get to celebrate tonight, and I pray for wisdom to be shared around this table. I pray for blessing over our city and over our communities around us. Lord, I pray that your will would be done and that we would be judicious in all decisions that need to be made. Pray these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Item number 1, awards, proclamations, and presentations.
No items.
Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 2, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 3, the minutes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the August 13th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 16th special meeting minutes. as
Second.
printed.
I have a motion by Commissioner Landry and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 4, items from citizens. Are there any items from citizens? Seeing none, we'll go on to item number 5, items from groups. And we do have a special guest, Tom Nealon from the CEO of Sapphire. Please approach.
Well, Mr. Mayor, thanks for inviting me this evening. I am Tom Nealon. I'm the CEO of Sapphire Renewables. Sapphire is a wholly owned subsidiary of Southwest Airlines. And prior to my role at Sapphire, I was the president of Southwest Airlines, so Southwest is quite committed to what we're doing. And so let me tell you what we are doing. We are building a cellulosic ethanol plant in conjunction with Conestoga. There have been a lot of past attempts at cellulosic ethanol that have not worked. And the approach we're taking is quite different. It's in conjunction with the Department of Energy and the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, Colorado. And we are breaking ground tomorrow. So we've been working on this for several years. So tomorrow's a big day. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll answer any questions you might have.
So, want to have any questions?
Yeah, you might describe a little bit, if you would, Tom, just real briefly, what your goal is with this plant, and how do you expect it to work?
Well, let me just describe real quickly. I'm short on time because I'm sure that people need to talk here. So the reason Southwest is doing this is, and we burn a lot of jet fuel. In fact, we burn about 2.5 billion gallons of jet fuel a year. That's a lot of carbon emissions. So the reason Southwest invests in this is we need to create sustainable aviation fuel. There's a lot of different pathways to do it. Our belief, and this is great for Kansas and great for Liberal, our belief is ethanol to jet is by far the most advantaged pathway to sustainable aviation fuel. And so this is not competitive with Gen 1 ethanol, which is being converted to fuel now. This is complementary. So we come in right behind the Gen 1 harvest, we collect the stover, and then we have a plant that is adjacent, actually connected to the Conestoga plant, that creates, Gen 2 ethanol. And just to give you some context, the way you measure the efficacy of sustainable aviation fuel is through a metric called carbon intensity score. And just as a point of reference, Jet A, which is traditional jet fuel, has a carbon intensity score of 89. Traditional ethanol converted to SAF, or sustainable aviation fuel, has a carbon intensity score of about 25, which is quite a reduction. So we are a big believer in ethanol. Gen 2 ethanol we're producing has a carbon intensity score of -40 to a -100. So that is really terrific. The reason that's so important to get that low is that's how you qualify for the credits to make the fuel affordable. So that's what we're doing. So, by 2050, U.S. aviation will require 35 billion gallons. And I think that the vast majority of that, or not the vast majority, but the largest piece contributing to replacing Jet A with sustainable aviation fuel will be through ethanol to jet. So I think that's the reason I'm here. All right, so we are building a facility. We intend to build a lot of facilities. This is the first. This is a pilot. It is a 10-ton per day pilot, which is very small. All right, so a bale is about just less than a ton. So we'll be producing, or converting about 12 to 13 bales per day, once we get up and going. So we're going to break ground tomorrow. We should be operational by November of next year, and then we should be commissioned and operating for about a year and a half to prove out the pilot. And then the intent is to build a demonstration plant, which goes from 10 tons per day to 200 tons per day, which is pretty significant, 20x increase. Commercial plants will be about 1,000 tons per day. That's a lot of corn stover. Fortunately, there's a lot of corn stover to be harvested. There's about 500 million metric tons of corn stover in the U.S., and you could easily take off 25 to 40% without damaging the fields. So we have to be really careful of that. So we have agronomists that will be measuring the quality of the soil before harvest and the quality of the soil, prior to the planting, just to measure how we're doing. So we feel very good about what we're doing. A lot of work still to come. But that's what we're doing, Jeff, Mr. Vice Mayor. Okay,
Thank you.
is that helpful?
What
Thank
is,
you.
who's your customer, I guess, would be?
Oh, that's a great question. Primary customer is Southwest Airlines.
Okay.
So we're gonna help build these plants. We're developing the technology with the national labs. We'll build the plants up, and then part of the way we'll help with the financing of the plants. Southwest is the only airline in the country, actually the only in the world, that has a investment-grade credit rating. The reason I bring that up, and the reason that's relevant, is with that credit rating, we can enter into 15, 20-year agreements to purchase the fuel. Other carriers can probably get a 5-year agreement. But for financing purposes, going to the bank with a customer like Southwest behind it, committed to buying it, it really helps with the financing. So the customer is Southwest. I think we'll be able to produce more than Southwest can consume, so we'll sell that in the market. So that's what we're thinking.
So like FBOs like ours wouldn't buy directly from you, they would buy from, like our FBO has in a contract with Phillips. That's
Yeah.
the only fuel they buy. You would sell to Phillips, Phillips would sell to.
Well, we wouldn't. The ethanol producer would sell
Okay.
to Phillips.
Okay.
Yeah. So, long way to go. We have a lot of confidence, though. The approach we're taking is fundamentally different than the prior cellulosic efforts. Fundamentally different. So, I think the biggest challenge is going to be collecting enough harvest. Right? That's a lot of stover. So I think that the technology, the scientific piece, we feel very, very good about. The logistics piece is very solvable, but it's a big logistics challenge, getting that much stover collected and stored, because you only have a 3 to 4 week window to harvest for a year. So there's going to be a lot of stover having to be stored. Economically, it's really good for the farmers. They're going to get paid pretty well for their stover, and it's good for the storage. In fact, that could be the farmers as well. It could be lots of people. And then you have the harvesters, you have the ethanol producers that'll make a very advantaged margin on their product, and then we get to buy the product. So economically, the value chain is pretty good for all involved. Okay?
Oh, I think that would be great for our area. I was recently in a meeting that shows the top producers, and it's all the counties around this area, so I think you're just gonna help that production with what you're trying to do.
Well,
So
there's a reason we are in Liberal. By the way, I love the traffic here. So being from Dallas, this is like a real treat, right? So,
you didn't run into the train, did you?
no, I did not. All right, is that it?
Since production
Yeah.
is going up significantly, do you know if this will create more jobs, or
Yeah,
is that?
it will. Our pilot
Like
plant
roughly?
will, I think, I shared a number with Jeff yesterday, I think, or Yeah, about
15.
15 or so.
That's exciting.
But this is for a pilot plant. Now, that's just direct jobs within the plant. That's plant operators, mechanics, and, technicians and such. But, so that's a very small number. But this is a small plant. So we're gonna build a lot of them, though. Okay,
Wonderful.
all right. Well, nice to be with y'all.
No,
And
thank you.
thanks for inviting me.
No, thank you, and
Okay,
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
all right. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you, Tom.
have a great day. Are there any other items from groups? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 7, the revenue neutral rate. Item A, the public hearing. I now declare the public hearing officially open. Have the proper legal notices been given?
Yes, the Seward County Clerk was notified of our intent on July 10th of this year, and the city's 2025 notice of hearing to not exceed the revenue neutral rate was published in the High Plains Daily Leader and Times on August 15th, 2024.
Okay. I invite members of the staff to testify on the matter before the commission.
Yeah, so, as we talked before, this is really a measure to buy us an additional 6 weeks to, better vet the numbers. I'm glad we had the extra time, because Brad and Scarlett dissected some areas that we hadn't dug that deep in before and found significant savings, around at least a $500,000. Like I told you last time, we were able to stabilize spending. Scarlett's very close on getting our rollover number, which will determine the levy amount, but we fully intend to levy the same amount or less as we did last year. So this is strictly a measure to give us the extra 6 weeks or until September 24th to complete the work and get you guys to approve it.
Are there any questions from commission or staff? My only question would be, we're considering levying the same or less mills?
Dollars,
Dollars.
yes.
Okay.
Which would generate a mill reduction.
There.
Unless you guys want to keep it the same, and then we can get better carpet in City Hall or something.
Well, even if we left the dollar amount the same, it would still generate a mill reduction, would it not?
Yes,
Yeah. So,
because the valuation went up, I believe, 6 million,
Valuation went up 7.1.
7.1. Yeah. Which
okay.
pushes over the 130,000 per mill threshold.
Okay, any questions from the audience? I invite anyone from the public to testify in support of this matter. Are there any, I invite anyone else who wishes to testify or comment on the matter. Being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. Would entertain a motion on this matter.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2419.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Vasquez.
Mayor, we will need a roll call vote on this item.
Okay, we will do a roll call vote. State your name and,
I have a question first. Sure. If we could. So we're passing this resolution, and it states a resolution to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate for budget year 2025.
Yes.
So explain to me why if we're not going to do that, why we have to pass a resolution that says we are going to do that.
Because had we not done that, this would have been due July 25th.
Okay.
And This is the mechanism that allowed us the additional 6 weeks.
Okay, it's,
I know it's a very unpopular program with every county clerk in the state,
I get it,
because it's a lot of work for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted some clarification on that, yeah.
It's better than the old CPI system, where if you went over the CPI, you had to take it to an election to raise
Right.
it a certain amount. We can raise it as much as you want now, it's just we have to give notice. So
As
it's
a member of
actually
the
a better
public, I would have
system.
preferred that one, but anyway.
But no, this is strictly to give us more time to work.
Okay. Any further questions? In that case, who wants to start?
I can,
Oh,
Mayor
please.
Landry, or I'm sorry, Commissioner Landry, how do you vote?
I favor.
A.
Aye.
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 Vice Mayor Parsons, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mayor Laura, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Vasquez
Aye.
and Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
We have a quorum, Your Honor, or not a quorum, I'm sorry. I'm not good at this, sorry.
5-0, motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 8, Apex Water Agreement.
All right, so Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, this is the agreement that we worked on the last 2 weeks. You had the presentation at the last meeting. I believe the only thing we're asking is your permission for me to sign the affidavit.
So there's a memorandum that's part of the packet that just basically gives him the authority to further negotiate the specific terms of the final agreement. The final terms within that regarding like the amount of money that they're looking at paying the city of Liberal for this, is being negotiated between the city manager and their individuals, and they're trying to limit the exposure of that. They know that it's public to disclosure if it's so requested, but the memorandum in front of you today just basically says, hey, we're looking at getting into an agreement with this entity, with Apex, and gives Rusty the ability to authorize as well as the mayor to be involved in that process to get it down into an actual agreement that then can be approved and signed off on, so.
And that agreement's about 99% done. We're down to 2 or 3 words here and there, but for the most part. But they did increase the compensation. They, so that they work with us on almost everything we asked for. I don't see any reason we can't knock this out next week or so.
Well, I make a motion to approve the memorandum of the water purchase agreement with Toro Green Fuels LLC and authorize the mayor and the city manager to negotiate and finalize the terms of the agreement.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Landry, a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Is there any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. We will move on to item number 9, the Liberal City Bus Title IX Annual Approval.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I'm Rodney Cap. I'm the supervisor for Liberal City Bus. And KDOT has required us from now on to get the Title VI discriminatory policy approved every year. And that is for federal and state funding.
Any changes to this, Rodney, from
No,
last year?
we went over that last year, and then they have a audit, people come out every 3 years and audit it, and they just done it, so they say we're good, so.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the Title VI policy for the city bus service.
A second.
A motion by Vice Mayor Parsons and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Okay, moving on to item number 10, city staff.
So, a couple quick
splash pads are forward. So the boys went back to Houston and let Fury come back, do a pressure test on everything. And they applied paint and everything. And Bill there, he's still got pipe and stuff. That'll all be taken care of. So once they're done with that, we will square up the pads, add some additional concrete around them, and put fences around them. I'm not sure if our intentions are to try to get them up and running this year. It's gonna depend on some other factors. I don't wanna get too much into it. Chip seal went phenomenal. Everything took really better. Kiwi said he's never seen it. So we're gonna start sweeping pretty quick and try to get Western and out by Walmart straight. And they're doing some additional striping back now. The smell, the roof has started here. Don't have a time frame on when it will be done. But hopefully by the first of October. I don't remember if y'all remember, but you approved the columnariums for the cemetery. They're looking to be here about the second week, We've already poured the concrete, everything's ready to go. Get off the trucks, take them out. Start making the pavement. I just wanna reiterate one more time. Stuff at the airport when the AWAS goes down, because it went down Saturday. And luckily they got the ops guys out here Sunday, got it going again. That's totally out of our. We need to go above whoever the tech ops are, whoever we're contacting and see if we can't get them, either give us and put a new AWAS in. It's just killing us, and it's always on the weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there any kind of pressure we can apply at all to FAA to make a better repair? Because, it's really frustrating for travelers. I was stuck on one of those flights that didn't go. We weren't notified until, after the flight was supposed to leave, and there were 50 people sitting in the airport. That plane was gonna be completely full, and we didn't get notified until afterwards. And, luckily, we didn't have any connections to make. We just canceled our trip, and so no harm, no foul. But I just want, because it's becoming a fairly regular inconvenience for flyers, and I just wonder if there's anything we can do to apply a little pressure to the FAA to say, hey, can you make a more permanent fix to whatever's breaking down?
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna talk to Jessica and have her reach out to Senator
I was gonna
Moran's
say
office.
Senator Moran is very big about the
He's
FFA.
he's here, so,
All right, he'll be here in the morning.
yeah.
The last time he was here, he and I spoke briefly about the airport, but
Mhm.
in the past, we've had success, him helping us on a few other things with
Okay.
FAA.
Well, that's good.
And Jessica's been itching for something to do since, they're out of session, so. Yeah, I met with the owners of the FBO today, and they were talking about the AWAS and the ILS and all the other things that continually go down, and all the other cities that are getting brand new stuff, and we just seem to continue to be left off the list, so. That's the route we're gonna start with.
Okay. Thank you.
And people get that bad taste in their mouth, they won't even try to fly out.
Yeah, I've heard several people who say, we're just not gonna try anymore. We're just gonna go to Garden and fly to Dallas. I mean,
And we got over that once. And it was hard to get over. when
Yeah.
Everybody started with confidence back and started flying here now. Their equipment's breaking. We've had some issues with taxiway landing. Electrician will be here in the morning. Hope you get all that. Sorry, the ILS, totally out of our
I understand that, yeah.
And a lot of times the airline will know before we know. As soon as they issue the note, they know. I don't know why they don't do anything about contact the customer. let them know. We'll work.
Okay, thank you, Brad.
Any other city staff?
I just wanted to report a little bit on the enterprise fleet maintenance rollout. So this is now in full swing. The PD had 8 vehicles that were available for pickup in the last couple of weeks. City Hall had one that's great and that's sitting on our lot that we've used several times. And then I just got notification this afternoon, we have 17 trucks that mainly belong to Brad's departments that are ready to pick up. It's been a learning process, especially for the finance department, because we've had to work through a lot of ins and outs, little technicalities and budgeting for the next year and those types of things. But we have a great relationship with them so far. I think it's smoothing out, and I know that Brad's guys are super excited and the PD to have these vehicles. And then as soon as we get these new ones, then we ask, there's a certain piece on the website that tells us you're getting this vehicle, it'll be replaced. It'll be replacing this vehicle, and then we get those vehicles ready, and then I guess get a time scheduled for them to pick those up, and then we prepare them for sale. So in the new budgetary year, I'll have its own fund set up. That's the biggest piece now that I'm working on is the ins and outs of that fund and the revenues and expense lines for that, so that we can monitor how much we're making off of existing fleet as opposed to the lease payments. So that is in full swing. So I just wanted to give an update.
Great. And you did mention they've been easy to work with?
Yes, it's been a lot. They tell us that the first 2 years are extremely rough. They can be. I don't think it's been as rough as they probably told me it would be. And I've enjoyed working with them. They've been great partners. And there's just so much to it. So going well.
Okay. Thank you for taking that on. Any other city staff? Okay, moving on to item number 11, the city manager's report.
All right, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I want to thank you guys for support. Thank the staff for the work that they've done. This summer it's been busy. I've really been impressed by how much these guys research before they bring you information, and I think that's a testament to the professionalism that the staff's evolved into, so I couldn't be more proud of that. As we talked about, we need to set a budget work session, and it's gonna get pretty tight. We would like to do it next Wednesday, the 4th. The 4th is not good for you.
That's right.
What day?
It was supposed to be Tuesday
The
the
3rd.
3rd.
Yes, Tuesday the 3rd.
Let me look, because
Are you with your, no?
Not a good day for me.
it's not a good day for me. I'll barely be coming back from Mexico because of the holiday.
This
Yeah.
is day after I gotta start crew in an out-of-town job, I won't even be here.
So Matt's gone on Wednesday, Jose's gone Thursday, I'm gone Friday.
I'm gone Tuesday.
Now,
They're going Tuesday, Monday.
Scarlett and Brad are more than capable of handling it. If you want to do it next week, if you want to do it next Friday and not have me here, but I'd rather be here if we did it, and push it to following Monday or Tuesday.
You're talking about the 9th to the 10th? Yeah, that's fine for me. 10th?
Yeah.
We have a commission meeting that day anyway.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with them.
the 10th? I'm good for the 10th.
Does that work fine for time frame, Scarlett?
I mean, I should be able to print books starting Thursday. I'm a planner, but I can do it earlier than the 9th or the 10th. But Tuesday, the day of commission, works great.
So do you want to shoot for noon? We can do lunch and then go into the hearings right after that.
Will we be able to get it done in 5 hours?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna give everybody 10-minute slots, except maybe police and a couple others.
Man, you guys really streamlined this stuff.
I mean, unless you guys have 10 years' worth of questions built up, there's just, it ought to go fairly quick. Ought to. Pretty cut and dry. It is.
All right.
Yeah, as long as we get that information ahead of time so we can go through it. I don't want to have to look at it 10 minutes at a department.
I'm sorry, what was?
They just want to make
Can
sure.
we get
they
our
it.
books ahead of time?
Yes, yes. When would you like them? Like the Friday
Just-
before?
Yeah, that's
Friday
fine, just so we have a
Okay.
chance to go through everything first.
Yes. I can let you know when they're ready and we can schedule a time for pickup.
Then let's do that.
And I think it was last week now. Brad and I met with Angelica to go over the committee's recommendation to the changes to personnel policy. We got through about half of it, so we got about another page worth to go through, and then we have a few other tweaks we want to make before we present that. It'll probably be the second meeting of August, just to give us enough time to get it out. It's no longer a space shuttle manual, but it's also not a,
5-page.
it's a Cliff Notes. It's also not Cliff Notes. And I do believe that is it, unless you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, items from commissioners. We'll start with Matt.
Thank you to all the city staff, emergency personnel in town. Been some nice weather, really hot. Looks like it's gonna cool down a little bit, so that's super nice. Holiday weekend coming up, so hopefully everybody's really careful this weekend if they're traveling, going out of town. One thing I'd like to say is, I was coming here today and I came down Western and the school out there right by, was that South Holly, the new,
Eisenhower?
yeah, people have gotta be really careful right there. It is so bottlenecked with people trying to get in and out of that school and the kids running across the street, and I mean, they're running across the street, not during crosswalk, and there's no,
MacArthur? The one in the neighborhood or the one on Western?
the one on
Yeah, the
Western.
middle school's much worse than
It's terrible. There's no law enforcement there.
It's like ants.
There's so many cars lined down the street and there's kids running between the cars. There's people that are parked on South Holly. You can't see anybody that's coming. So I would just say that, people really need to be ultra careful in that area because it's, not everybody abides by the school zone speed limits. You know that. We know that. And there's just so many kids getting out at that time. It was, concerning. Even for me, it was like, wow, there's a lot of kids and they're coming in between cars. So other than that, that's really all I've got, Hope everybody enjoys their holiday weekend this weekend, so yeah.
Thank you, staff, for all you do. We appreciate it. Thank you to the Apex guys for making the trip out for not a lot of attention, but we appreciate what you're doing. We do. It seems like all of a sudden we're turning into the alternative energy hub of the planet right now, I guess, maybe. Thank you to Sapphire and Conestoga for what they're doing. He didn't say, but I think that plant is on just the little test plant he's talking about, it's on the order of $80 million of investment. Those engineers, the chemical engineers they're sending are high salaried people who will be here, and that's always good. Thank you to Conestoga for their participation in this. Those guys really kind of made this project happen, so it's good. Eli, thank you for coming tonight and for presenting. Appreciate everything you do. And I appreciate the discussion we had about CID at the work session. I think those are good things to work through. I know we don't always agree on everything, but I think that's the way we get better at what we do. And I'll just go on the record to say, I don't think that's carved in stone. If we have the right thing come up, I think we can change our mind. We did on funding some housing things, and so I think we're capable of evolving, maybe. So anyway, I appreciate the discussion we had. So that's all I got.
Ron?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for the staff, everything you're doing, and through the heat and summer. Maybe it's going to cool down here before too long. We probably won't get any of that in between weather. It goes straight from hot to cold, I guess, like it always does. But definitely appreciate Apex, in addition to our community and Conestoga and what could be happening out there and any kind of development, Eli, for everything you're doing to try to build our community. Sometimes you don't hear from us exactly maybe what you're wanting to hear, but you definitely have our support. And we will definitely want to see our community move forward and do the best we can to make that happen when we can. And that's all I got.
Just want to say thank you to everybody who continues joining us, whether it's in person or online or commission meetings. We really appreciate the engagement. Also want to say thank you to Sapphire, Conestoga, and especially you, Eli. We really do appreciate your hard work. I know sometimes we don't get the chance to tell you, but we do appreciate, we know that there's a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes, so we do appreciate everything your office does for us. With that being said about the slowing down, I highly agree with Matt. I've actually seen it myself, and I just had a friend post on social media that their son got hit by a car while he was riding his bike. So definitely do, and it's not just in school zone, it's really just in residential areas. So I want to remind everybody to slow down, if we could put some kind of campaign out, because people just tend to forget. They're in a hurry in the mornings, but I think that's something that we really do need to push out there. Slow down, not just during school zones, but if you see children playing outside, that should definitely be a priority. Apex Clean Energy, thank you guys so much for the sponsorship for the health fair. I think I've been telling everybody about you guys, well, as much detail as I could share, but I have really been bragging about you guys, the dedication that you've shown us with your sponsorship for the health fair. We really appreciate it. Also want to thank the staff. I've heard a lot of really positive comments from people, not even just in Liberal, outside of Liberal. There's a lot of people that are really looking forward to the health fair. They're very excited that we as the commission decided to put health at the top of our priorities, with Seward County being over 14% uninsured. I think that speaks a lot. You guys will start seeing a lot more media coverage from state and local media. But it is out there on the headlines, you know, that Liberal is doing everything in their power to be able to bring more resources and tools for people to get screened. So do want to thank you guys for that, but we're very, very excited. I've heard nothing of positivity, especially for City of Liberal and Apex. So pretty excited for that. I do anticipate a full house, but spread the word to your guys' friends, because so after our last meeting, I met with the hospital administration team. Between the city and Apex, that gave us 1,000 free exams, but the hospital is actually going to cover any additional tests. So basically, anybody that walks in the doors will get general lab testing for free. So we're very, very excited about that. Spread the word with your friends and family. That's it.
Thank you. As always, thank you to all the staff. I've also been hearing things on a separate side with different business owners and community leaders in other areas between Dodge, Garden, and other small cities. They're starting to look at Liberal as a place where they want to move to or where they want to start their businesses. And I think that says a lot to the staff and everything that we've been pushing forward, as well as just hopefully also getting a little bit more media out there that is letting people know Liberal is ready to do the job. Always, thank you to Apex Clean Energies for looking at us and for considering to invest in this area. They're actually here for a little bit more. I think they're looking for a little extra space as well. So they're here for the long haul, and thank you for that commitment. And while the weather stays nice, definitely keep an eye out, because I have also seen an increase of kids walking home from school and in the mornings. So, and in the past, I hadn't seen as many, at least in my neighborhood. So it's beginning to, I think, pick up and just be more comfortable, which gets me back to pushing a sidewalk initiative that we really need to start looking into in those high traffic areas where we do see a lot of kids walking. Now, again, we can't do anything about those major thoroughfares where they're still running through, but at least in my neighborhood, a lot of them are still walking in the street because there is no sidewalks where they can walk. So, and that's on 11th Street. So you do have cars picking up speed in that area.
And we did talk last week, Brad and I, about a cost share program with the property owner, or, you know, we built the sidewalk around MacArthur because it was just pretty treacherous for the kids in that, not a cul-de-sac, but in that curve. There's 24 other places in town that, we'd like to help fix that.
And I know Blue Cross Blue Shield has grants specifically for that. It's like the Healthy Initiative where they promote safety sidewalks. They assist with stuff like that.
And the state also has a few, the safe,
Safe routes to school.
yeah. So I know the state's willing to help. For that, those areas kind of like there where it's a heavy traffic street that kids are walking in. At that point, I don't want to cost share with the owners. I want to just get their permission to put sidewalks there. But that's another agenda item that we'll eventually get to and start working on with hopefully some grant money as well. And then at the end, we've had I believe there was some statements before. In my case, negativity is only when you're willing to stop progress without explaining why. Like in our conversations, I am happy with our decision because we all spoke all the different options and we're gonna move forward as a group. If progress is stopped just because that's the way it's always been done, or just because you don't like it, that's when I'll probably be a little bit more vocal. But for the most part, I'm very happy with the way the city's going and our community is going. And I'm excited to see where everything's going on. And we do need to say kudos to the county. They approved the water district that might add another 47 units in northern Seward County, so that'll be good to see. Every housing unit we can get in here will probably get filled, so we have a lot of progress moving in our direction. That's all I got to say. Item number 13, the vouchers.
I'll make a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,617,245.14.
A second.
A motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Landry. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned.